Hi, this is Trevor Conkergood. Welcome to this week's RNK Software Club's video for the week. And our topic is how to create a font with Lettering Master. And so Lettering Master is actually not something that comes with your Floriani software, but it's an add-on program that can be added to it. Many of our software owners have purchased Lettering Master either as part of a bundle like our expansion pack or as a standalone software. And so this video is for you guys. It's how to create a font kind of going from the beginning. And so first of all, if you have Lettering Master and you're wondering where the tool is, it's under the font tool. When you click under the T for fonts, you'll notice that the final option is called create a new font. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on that now. And a whole new area of the program opens up. You'll notice a menu at the top of your workspace that is specific to this tool. I could open a font that I've already been working on or click here to start a new font. But basically, my options are to add characters from TrueType fonts. So if you want to build your font based on a TrueType font, you choose this button. If you have digitized your letters or hand-drawn them, so to speak, then you would use the add one character at a time option. So and then these are buttons which come up after we start working on the font, like to edit the kerning between the letters and to import kerning if there is some available. But what I'll do is get started by clicking on Add Characters from a TrueType font. And a window opens up that you go through kind of step by step. And so the first step is really to choose the font. And this is going to now look at my TrueType font folder in Windows. You can scroll through and see any font that's been installed into your computer will now become one that's available to be used with the program. And so I'll choose this one, Bauhaus 93, and it shows me what it looks like. But if you're happy, you say next. So now what characters do you want to include? And you can click on them. To select them, if you hold down your control key, you can select multiples, or if you hold down your shift key, it will select all of the ones in between. So I'll usually start with the exclamation and decide to keep all of the punctuation, all of the numbers, all of the uppercase letters. Then it'll have the lowercase letters, and it keeps going. You can decide if you need all of the European symbols or characters, but basically you can bring in whatever that you want. I'm going to stop after the lowercase letters. I'll take the parentheses and about down at the tilde, and I'll stop. So if there was something else you wanted, you could hold your control key down and be like, I want the pounds and I want the cents or whatever it is. But when you're happy with your selection, then you will say next. And the software asks you, what do you want to include? And I've got everything included. So there's something called an extents box. There is the ability to include artwork and the ability to create the embroidery segments. And I'm going to allow it to do all three and click finish. And so now the program is actually working. It's auto digitizing all of the characters that I have selected, and it's going to complete with all of the letters, in little boxes on our screen. And of course, if you don't have Lettering Master, you can always use the FTCU software to convert a TrueType font into embroidery. You don't need Lettering Master to do that. However, if you don't like the way some of the letters get created and you find yourself fixing them, then Lettering Master would be great, because if you don't like the way a letter stitches, now it gives me the ability to change the way that letter stitches and save it with the font. And so now our font has been created. You can see all of the characters have sort of like one little box around them. This is the entire font that we created. So I guess one thing I'll say is I usually save it at this point. So we'll click save and give it a name. We'll call it the same name that it had, Bauhaus 93, and then say save. So now the font has been created and you could work with it. And so what I'll do then is I'll, up at the top of my workspace, I'm going to click back here on the tab for my empty embroidery design that I started with and use my text tool to experiment with my font and see how it looks. So it'll come up with the words my text. Now I can choose the font, and so it'll be under the letter B for the Bauhaus, and it's right there. And so I say, okay, and I can click apply. And so now we can see how the embroidery looks. And right away, I can see things that I might like to change. Like, for example, at the top of the letter Y, I might like the stitching to come to the horizon as opposed to sewing into a point. So that's something I could change. And I noticed the letter E looked like it also needs a little bit of an edit. And a lot of times, depending on how complex the font is, there may be several letters that need to have small modifications. And so notice if I come over here and I look for the uppercase letter Y, I can click on it, right click, and say that I want to edit the character. So that will actually bring up the letter Y like an embroidery design. And you'll notice that that the properties box, I'm sorry, has 3 layers to it. And the first one is the outline, because we asked for these things when we started. The second one is the stitches. And then the third one is the extents box. So the extents box shows you, imagine that that's the frame around the letter. And if you put it beside another letter, then the extents box will match up to each other. And so you can easily make changes to these things. For example, if I select on the satin path stitches and then choose my shape tool, that's how I can adjust the direction of the stitching that I had pointed out, in our sample as wanting to adjust. And so once I've made that adjustment and I click to close, it asks me, do I want to save the letter? And I say yes. So now the letter Y has been updated in our font, but we have not actually updated the font yet. I would need to come to the top and click save to save the change to the font. And essentially that's it. Now, if I come back over to my embroidery design where we're actually, working with this font, and if I click apply, you'll notice that the Y will update to now sew the way that I asked it to. And so really it's just a matter of going through and checking all the letters. I guess another tip I could give for that would be to use your font play tool and ask it to show you all of the letters for your font. And so if I come in and I choose the Bauhaus 93 and I ask to see all of the letters, then it's an easy way to check them all, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm just kind of patiently waiting for the embroidery to come on screen, and then I can say import. So what this does is it gives me every letter in the alphabet and allows me to go through and decide which letters turned out perfect and which letters need some work. And so I can see, right away the H and that lowercase f and the lowercase t need a little bit of editing, and probably, there may be some other ones. But so once again, you come back to the font, you select the letter H, and you right click to choose to edit that character. And that opens up the letter H, and it's typically the red kind of middle one that is the stitches that we need to adjust. And when I select it, I can use my shape tool to interact with it. And here I think a good understanding of the satin path tool goes a long way, because what's missing here, and I can see right away, is a divide line. I really need to have, I can right click and say to add a split line and tell it where to split. So essentially, the software needed a little bit of help to understand how to divide that letter H up. And so I know about that by watching videos about the satin path tool and how to edit them. But once I'm happy with my H, I click close and save it. And then I save the font, and now my H is corrected. And if I went back to the design that we have with all of the letters and we selected it and we clicked apply, then it will update the uppercase H. And so this is the process of building a font from a true type font. It gives us the ability to really perfect every letter so that they sew exactly the way that we like them. And then we can save it and you'll never have to worry about it again. You have a brand new font that sews perfectly. And so you'll notice that my H is now being corrected. Yeah. Okay, we hope you enjoyed this week's RNK Software Club's video of the week. The one thing I will say about this week is you may enjoy to review all of the videos for Total Quilter on the RNK Software Club website. There's an entire section with videos about Lettering Master. So if you want to learn more about Lettering Master, maybe find the training section. In the meantime, we hope you had a wonderful day. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.